Hey guys, coldbrew here. Welcome back to another raid video. I hope you're having a great Sunday. It seems to be that raid is on track with some things in the game. With the 2x's, the 10x's, the 1+1s, the guaranteed, the fusions, they have a schedule and they're following it to the letter. But with other things, it seems that Plarium is like a goldfish, right? Their memory seems to just escape them when it relates to developing those parts of the game. We'll be covering that in today's video and hopefully bringing you guys some solutions that maybe you guys can come up with a better solution than me. Put it down in the comments. Before we get on to the video, guys, a big thank to today's sponsor, EverLegion. Guys, check out this free mobile game I recently stumbled upon called EverLegion. It's a free mobile game belonging to the 3D fantasy RPG genre, and it has over 100 upgradable heroes with very detailed graphics, which honestly are amazing. EverLegion is also consistently and frequently updated, so there is always something interesting to do, and it's also a completely free mobile game, so you can play it anywhere you like. If you want to join me in EverLegion, check out the link down below in the description and comments of the video, as well as the QR code up above to download the game for free. And look what we have here. After my first 25 summons, which I get completely free for completing the tutorial, I managed to summon Niviana, a completely new elite hero. If you're not familiar with Niviana is a powerful mage that not only helps your team's attack go up through her buffs, but she also can be your main damage dealer within the team. One of my favorite heroes so far must be Xalther, as he does have damage over time abilities as well as healing to provide to the whole team, so he's an impressive support. And his ultimate ability keeps one of your allies unkillable for 10 seconds while also giving them a huge attack boost. And if you are looking for a challenge, then the Dragon Abyss is for you, featuring some of the most difficult boss encounters within the game, but with great rewards, as if you can beat the Dragon boss with a team that you set up, then you will earn the Dragon Eggs, which offer some very rare rewards within the game. And if you are looking for more challenges, check out the roguelike mode in the Spirit Realm, check out the Sky Tower and the Isle of Mist to earn powerful rewards. By the way, use my redeem code ELColdB to earn some powerful rewards. There is only about 100 or so of them, so make sure you go and redeem these as fast as possible. Download the game right now and play it for free. Alright guys, it's a Sunday and I thought I'd make a different video than the other one since I wanted to write down all the things that Plarium seems to have forgotten. I did mention at the start that Plarium seems to have a good grasp of some things which are obvious, like the summoning events, which brings them the most amount of money. It's an obvious thing that they are on track with everything, the 10x, then a 2x, then a 10x, then a 10x during a CDC, then a 1+1, then an extra 10x. They have it in a schedule and they've been following it for more than a year now, I want to say, at least, all right? But the other things they seem to forget. I've put it all down in the list, and I said I'll start with it and we'll see where it takes us, because it's a lot of things to cover, which I just started with one thing and I saw, oh my God, they seem to be forgetting more and more and more things that they could add to the game to step it up a little bit, right? Let's get started. First things first. The summon portal, all right, it's the obvious thing. The mercy system, why is there not a mercy system still in the game in terms of a counter where we can actively see, okay, we are 10 shards away from the guaranteed legendary that we get in the 220 shards, or to start to be within the mercy system that the game has, right? The mercy system starts at 200 ancients and it starts at 12 sacreds in order to get a legendary, right? The same thing for the void. Why is there no progress bar like here in the summoning portal? I would have thought that would be an easy thing to do, but it seems to be the Plarium wants us to stay in the dark and summon like crazy until we think maybe that we're close to the legendary. Seems to be like a very easy fix for me, but it seems that Plarium just has completely forgotten or chooses to forget on doing that. Then the next thing is the grade hole bonuses, right? The grade hole bonuses, especially the affinity bonuses, they mentioned that once you max this out, they mentioned it a couple of months ago, once you max this out, with your maxed out medals that you have, like for me, and as an example, I've got 46,774 medals. They mentioned that I would be able to start earning chests, like the chest we get for the arena every week. I would be able to trade these in and get a chest. that was supposed to happen around this time, right? And it still has not happened. I still give them the benefit of the doubt, but I think they've forgotten on this actual change that they need to add to the game. It seems to be one of the things that, okay, we'll do it to just make the longer players, the veterans, just shut up about it, because we know they do the arenas and they earn nothing other than maybe the forging materials, right? So maybe that was the idea behind Plarium. And talking about forging materials, right? We have the forge, and with the addition of the Doom Tower and stuff like that, we kept on getting new sets and all that, and that was interesting, okay? And with the addition of the Forge Pass, we also got more sets like the Instinct, Bolster, Defiant, and the Righteous one as the latest one. But it made me wonder, okay, how come we never had a Forge accessories part? Why Plarium? Did you forget? Was this ever in the plans to make accessories available through the Forge? It makes sense to be able to craft both equipment, so artifacts, but also accessories. There's no other part in the game where you can earn accessories like this. Maybe other than here in the clan shop, where you go in there and you just blindly buy the accessories, or in the tag arena shop. I guess that is our Forge, but it's still not a Forge. You cannot actually put in the material here to get a higher ranked one, or you cannot put in specific charms for maybe a faction that you want to have. Like for me, for orcs, I really want to get a triple rolled speed substat accessory with accuracy on the top, on the primary. So this would have been amazing, right? This would have made sense, but it seems to be, it might have been in their eyes as part of the future of the game, but maybe they've forgotten. Maybe it was never a part of the game from the start. But yeah, that would be a nice addition, wouldn't it? I think it would be great for the game, for the health of the game, if we added amulets here as well. And especially with the more factions that they add into the game, it makes more sense to eliminate a little bit that RNG through forging, right? So maybe that's a thought, Plarium. Maybe you should follow that. Then as we go here in the main screen, there's some things that I know I've mentioned in the past before and other creators have, like the mine, the market, and the sparring pit, right, where you level up your champions. These are outdated parts of the game since 2019, 2018 actually, if you count the soft launch of the game. These parts have been like this since the game was originally thought of and created, right? They haven't bothered changing these at all. Have they forgotten about it, or do they think, okay, it's a good thing to start out and we're not going to bother after it because it is a part of the game for the beginners and that's it? For the endgame players, they have other stuff to bother with. I mean, simple updates like on the gem mine to give us a little bit more gems, to the market to give us maybe 6-star items, or maybe instead of ancients to give us a void, or maybe 1 sacred per month for a bigger price tag instead of the 5,000 and the 200,000. Maybe that's an idea, Plarium. And obviously for the sparring pit, at least make it so that these auto update to the next level, auto upgrade to the next level, right? Level up instead of us having to click there. So that's a thought, obviously. And since we're here in the Guardian Ring, another note I had was the token trader, right? So the token trader, with my notes here that I'm looking at, this was introduced, I had the date for this, November 2021, right? So since November 2021, guys, they have not added a new champion here. It doesn't mean that these champions offered here are bad, right? Because we have Molly, we have Fushan, Sir Nicola, all of them I can find a use for. Maybe the least useful champion out of these 6 right now is Minaya, but she's still good for the Banner Lords faction. So you can't really say that she is bad. She also has a lower price tag than the others. But still, every one of these champions has a solid use. It's not like they're giving you some kind of random non-void champion. What they could have added here was maybe a rotation of champions here for a solid price tag. So it makes getting dupes not so much hurtful for your account, because you know you can aim to get one of the better champions offered through the token trader. It's an obvious thing, but the most obvious would have been if they added for a smaller price something like fragments and collecting fragments for champions that you're missing, such as for me, champions like Iron Brago. I could have gotten a dupe out of this one if I could have bought his fragments, or maybe other champions which I have an insane amount of fragments for, but it seems They never even offer packs for me anymore. It's Opardin Clanfather. I missed the fusion because I was very busy at the time that he was out, and I'm just 5 away, and I never even got the pack offer to buy the 5, or I might have forgotten about it, and since then the game completely forgot about me, I guess. So that champion is out of reach for the moment. The next part of this one will be the Tavern, all right? Since the game's initial launch, the skills, the way that you upgrade your skills was this, right? You have your legendary champion, and you would add your books in there, and randomly those would upgrade one of the 3 skills that the champion has. This makes sense when the game is very small. When there's like 100 legendary champions, you want to make it have some randomness, so there is a sort of sink of resources. They call it a resource sink, like a legendary book sink, because it uses up your resources more than intended, and that is why they have the randomness in there. But with so many champions in the game right now, and so much access to legendary champions, either through daily login events, either through now the Doom Tower, there's so many different ways to get legendary champions that legendary books have become harder to acquire, okay? Because you use them up so quickly, it doesn't even feel like you have enough legendary books. The way that we have legendary books is still the same. They've never added a legendary book dungeon. I know that would be great, but they won't be doing it. But why do we still have this outdated solution for the skill upgrade part of the game? This could have easily have been something that would change, and I would actively be able to, let's say, level up just the A1 of the champion, just the A2 or just the A3, without wasting any extra books. Because usually when we now see a champion, our thought is, okay, I need 4 and another 5 here, that's 9, and then another 5 here, that's 14 books. You pretty much say, I need all of them in order to max out the champion, because I know I cannot depend on just maxing out his A3 or just his A2, because the A1 does not seem that impactful to me, and I would like to save up the 4 books here. So it is a part of the game that I think needs to be upgraded to be more like a 2023 RPG gacha with 779 champions. That's the amount we have right now, guys, in the game. Not legendary, just total amount of champions. 779, if anybody asks, as of the 28th of May, which is today. So that is something that has been forgotten, or they thought, okay, that was a solution and it's still a proper thing to have. Then we have the missions, all right? Since Romantu was launched, we never had an update to the missions. I know these are very difficult to do, especially after Arbiter, but it would be nice if every year Plarium added more and more missions. It doesn't always have to be a legendary champion in the end, and it doesn't have to be the best legendary champion. You can add something else in there. You can add a champion token in there where you can select a non-void champion of your choice once you complete a set amount of missions. That would have been a nice addition to the game. Or just simply 60 missions for you to get 2 legendary books. That would still be solid for the newer players out there, or the players who are more free to play or lower spenders to slowly acquire some resources such as legendary books, right? And the missions could be something that's repeating all the time, like the advanced quests. It doesn't have to be something crazy as rewards, maybe just 1 legendary books, and something that people have, you know, maybe a constant goal in their back of the mind. So maybe do 100 classic arena fights, do 10 live arena fights, those kind of missions. It doesn't have to be something crazy. You don't need to forget parts of the game once you complete them. And the same thing would go for maybe the campaign. We need to have, I would say, something that makes things different within the game, because we have the normal, hard, and brutal mode and the nightmare mode of the campaign, but they seemed, since 2019, where the nightmare campaign was added, they forgot that maybe we could add a better version of this, an ultra nightmare version, where maybe 2 champions are needed to farm XP, but that would be enough for you to farm an extreme amount of experience for your heroes. That would deplete your energy significantly, but also be more reasonable in terms of the efficiency for silver and experience. At this point, nightmare farming does not make sense unless you have a very dedicated nightmare farmer with a 7-second farm, which is very, very difficult to do. And also, it still doesn't make sense if you are looking to be better with your silver efficiency, all right? So even in 2023, it still doesn't make sense to farm the hardest difficulty. It makes sense to go back to brutal and farm 12.3, maybe 12.6. It's still, I don't understand this. I don't understand how they thought of the efficiency part of that one. And maybe I would have understood it if the Ultra Nightmare version had the solution for that and be the place where everybody farms. But it seems to be something that they won't be adding. Maybe Plarium forgot about that for sure. Same thing goes for the Doom Tower, although I would say that a Nightmare version or an Ultra Nightmare version, 2 more difficulties added to the Doom Tower would be extreme difficulty. But with this one, it's okay. It's still very difficult for the hard mode. So just a Nightmare mode or a brutal mode would make sense with higher accuracy requirements and resistance requirements. And that would add in maybe to the area bonuses where you can add the choice to upgrade your Doom Tower stats instead. But it seems to be that they are forgetting parts of the game, even with that, even with the most recent addition, which is the area bonuses. So the Doom Tower also has this problem right here with the rankings. These seem to be such a great opportunity for Plarium to do something about these rankings. They've added the system where it calculates, okay, your turns that you take to fully beat some of these stages and the rooms that you complete as well. But with this addition that they had, they never added something to incentivize the players or reward the players for being a PvE, strategist. You are better in this part of the game, at least, than others, or you strive to be better than others, at least in this part. You don't like the PvP, the platinum chase. You don't want to do that. You want to do this instead. It's all on you. You have your champions. It's your account. Enjoy it. And maybe this one, they could have added a simple thing such as PvE medals right here, where they can give them to the top 3 of the Doom Tower finishers every month. This would give me, actually myself, an incentive to maybe think, okay, maybe I can try this one instead as a change. Maybe this would be a ton of fun to try and take just one turn to clear one part of the game. Maybe in the normal Doom Tower, I can actually probably clear it with 3 turns. Some of the normal stages, maybe even the bosses, like one-shotting the bosses in the normal, maybe a couple of 40 stages or so. Maybe I can think of a Baron setup where he can actually take them out. Another thing that they've obviously forgotten, which we gave them the excuse of, the obvious things happening, like the war in Ukraine, the Hydra, okay? The Hydra was launched in 2021, December 2021. So we know that the war affected a lot of things, such as the way that they progressed through and they developed the Hydra, but we also know that they've moved their offices. We also know that they've still been working hard in developing other parts of the game. So we know that they have the force behind pushing the game still in 2023. Why has Hydra been forgotten? In the sense of, they mentioned that we would have additional heads to fight different heads, different strategies, and also different rewards added as part of the Hydra progression of content. Since the December 2019, it's almost been 1.5 years. They have not added anything to the Hydra other than the Soul Stones, right? As a reward. Nothing else has been added to the Hydra. And it makes me think, have they forgotten about that and completely scrapped it as a part of the game since they don't want to be giving out rewards to the players? Maybe that's the case. Maybe they just devoted their efforts in someplace else, such as doing the 7-day login events and all that kind of stuff, or putting more effort into Raid's own animated show over on YouTube with the 5-minute episode. Maybe that's the thing that they put effort in. The next one is an obvious one, which it doesn't really make sense that they would add this so quickly, but I still haven't understood why they've never added the accessories part of Ascension of gear. We know that this will be the accessories Ascension. Maybe the boss is still under development, so they still haven't launched this one. But I don't understand what Plarium is thinking, why they're delaying it so much. Maybe they don't want to have the all of that gear be upgraded at the same time and provide such a huge power creep to players, which I don't understand. It doesn't really affect these kind of dungeons like the Sand Devils, plus this one will only affect the whales, but I still don't understand why this was not added around the same time as the Sand Devil and Necropolis. That's what I would have expected, but the Sand Devil was launched in December 2021, and it's still, we don't have any clue on when this will be out. Probably maybe in December this year. Maybe they like to launch things during November, December, so maybe that's their thing. We should expect something big by that time. Then going over to the Champions page, okay? The Champions page, this has been outdated, and this is such a bad system. They've added ways for us to sort our champions, but it is 2023. We have 779 champions to go through in our account, possibly. All right, let's say you caught them all. There is no search function in the game. I cannot, if I am searching for a champion that I know I have, unless I am very, very careful, I will be scrolling up and then scrolling down, scrolling up, scrolling down into trying to find the right champion because there's no search for it. I can even sort them through affinities. It doesn't really help me, especially with so many champions on my account personally. It doesn't really help me when I'm looking for that one rare that I kind of forgot their names. Also, maybe I remember the first 2 letters. It still hurts, but I do my best and I eventually find them. But it seems such an obvious thing for Plarium to add a search bar here where we can search for the champion we have and then use that champion to equip them and all that. I just don't get it. And talking about equipment, by the way, guys, Raid has forgotten that we only have 1,300 slots for equipment. They keep on adding new pieces of new sets, right? And by adding a new set, it makes us, okay, maybe I should keep 4 pieces of this one. Maybe I should keep 5 pieces of this set. That adds up, Plarium, okay? We had the Bolster, Instinct, Killstroke. So many new sets added since they've increased this amount to 1,300. The artifact storage we had, I believe, used to be, if I remember correctly, my memory is not that good with the game. I think it was 500 when I first started. 500 slots for gear. And I think the gear we had was probably all the way here to divine speed. We didn't have the swift parry, resilience, and all that. So all the way here. And since then, since then, swift parry and all of these sets were added to the game, for sure. So they've increased that from 500 to 700, and then from 700 to 1,300. And my notes here on when they did this increase was in way behind in October 2021. It seems to be the time that they did the change. It might have been earlier than that. It used to be 700 at that time, I believe, through my search. I might have been earlier than that. You guys can correct me, but it makes sense for us to add more storage slots, right? I know I'm still gonna be closer to the limit, but still, maybe Plarium, fix your things and make it make sense, right? Give us just a little bit more. Maybe 1,500 would make more sense with the amount of sets that we have currently in the game. And then something that could add another layer of interest and strategy within the game would be tier 7 masteries. The masteries have been the same since the launch of the game. They've been doing some fixes, bug fixes mostly, for things that affect the game. But Plarium has never tried to switch it up a little bit with the masteries. Add a new mastery that makes things more interesting for the clan boss. Makes things more interesting for the defense tree, for the clan boss, or for PvP. They haven't done this. They've added things such as the blessings, which are affected by masteries. Let's say the sheep, but that is not what I mean. Why did we never have a revamp to the masteries to make it a little bit more interesting? Add another layer of masteries and make it easily farmable. Let's say 200 scrolls or 500 scrolls even, it's fine. Players would love to go back to the Minotaur and farm, and honestly, for some of their champions, if they know that that's going to give them a little bit of an extra boost in PvE content. Let's say your Giant Slayer now has a 10% extra chance to proc because of that mastery. I think that would make sense for me. I know players out there might say otherwise, but still, maybe by doing so, they would also have to update the way that 800 gems give you full masteries. Maybe they would have to do it 850, and that might change things for other players out there. But that is only something in my head. At least changing the masteries every now and then would have made sense, but we all know that this is expensive for you to change masteries. So also giving a free change of masteries would be good, but Plarium doesn't like to give free things when we know that. We know that so well. And guys, I know I've been taking this video so long, I know, but as I said, I have a notepad here open, and the things I wrote down for what Plarium has forgotten over the years, they were just adding up, and I just couldn't keep half of them in and half of them out. So I know I've forgotten more about them, So like now, right now, as I'm recording, I've noticed that the skins is a thing that, yeah, we tried skins, but they didn't work. Yes, Plarium, it didn't work because you just put in skins in the game and then you give them a $50 price tag and expect that players will jump out of their seat in excitement to go and buy that. Or that you have a champion training event to get the skin. I think this one for Trunda was relatively easy to get, but I only fell for the champion training for one skin, which was for Cold Heart. And I said I'll never do a huge champion training for Cold Heart again. But skins, they failed because you also failed to add some incentive of players. If you wanted to give a skin for Trunda, give maybe also some energy, some gems alongside the skin pack, and you would see more sales. I guarantee it. It would make more sense for people to say, oh, for maybe it's not the right, ratio of gems that I would spend for, let's say, $20, but I also get a Trunda skin, and now my Trunda can look much cooler. So yeah, might as well get it, because I'll get some gems plus the skin. It makes more sense. I don't understand why Plarium just tried to always sell them directly to us for a price instead of just trying to sell them with a different aspect, right? Put the skins up for sale with some rewards or additional resources is the better word, and that would have made more sense. But anyway, that is Plarium. Their thinking is not always, at least in our eyes, the correct one. In their eyes, they might be doing the perfect job, and that's why they made $1 billion since their launch. But maybe with the right decisions, they could have made $2 billion. Maybe Plarium. Have you ever thought about that? Maybe you lost $1 billion because you do bad decisions, right? Anyway, closing it off, guys, the blessings is the final part I wanted to cover, because the blessings is something that we recently had added to the game, and that was September of 2022. So not a full year. So maybe on their year anniversary of launching this content, they will be adding the lower part, which is I'm sitting right there where it is, but it's a big hidden part of the game where more blessings will be added. So more rare, epic, and legendary blessings will be added. Will those affect PvP? Will those affect PvE? We don't know, but that is something that either Plarium has forgotten or it's within their schedule of launches. And as I'm saying this, instead of closing it off, this part, what is this gonna be? When is this gonna come? The Great Void? Who knows? Are we gonna get a Void champion from this one? Who knows? It's still part of the game. It looks cool, but we have no idea. If we wait as much time as we waited for the Iron Twins dungeon to become this, then yeah, we're gonna wait a long more time for one more clan boss to exist within the game. Anyway, guys, I apologize if this video was exhausting. I know I talk too much, but for this one, I just wanted to make this a little bit different. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.